Where I was born is now in Pakistan. It was a small village close to a river. River was our main entertainment, so we will go there, swim, play and whatnot. And that was also a source of our water supply. And that was a source for washing our clothes. So that was a main kind of a thing. So my parents, at that time, when we are talking about more than 150 years ago, our country believes in arranged marriages. Not anymore, but it used to. So their marriage was an arranged marriage, though they were from the same village. Girls were kept separate from the boys, and after they arranged, set up, they got married. And but my father was in a job, so he got a job, so he was moving out of this village for wherever the job is. So he traveled a lot. He went to Afghanistan, he went to many parts of India, that's Kashmir, and with his travel, he was away from home for most of the very long times. And my mother used to control everything. But though my dad never hit me, but when my mother would say, "Your dad is coming," we'll be all scared and just keep calm and quiet and do nothing, as we are so serious studying or playing nicely. In the later stage, after partition, when Pakistan and India became separate countries, we moved to the India part. And because of my father's previous experience, he got a job of a salesperson in Lipton's Tea, a company. Therefrom, he retired at the end. And my mother was just a housewife, but she knew lots of varieties of cooking and making things, as it was usual in the olden days, that ladies were basically doing the house chores and father would be doing the outdoor work. So that's how. So I grew up, my father was very open-minded, and he allowed me whatever I wanted to do. Traditionally, for this much of higher education, that is going to master's and PhD, I guess I'm the first one in my family who did that. And I would credit my dad because before doing my master's, I was doing a good job. I was earning good money. And my grandpa says, "Don't leave because you will be losing that much money." Well, my dad says, "Go ahead, what you want to do." And that's what I could finish my PhD, though I had to stay out of home and I have to travel for my geology explorations, and but I loved it. And I admire him for his support. My sister got married and she moved to Canada. From our family, there was no one else in Canada. So she wanted a bit of a family support. So she asked me, "Would you like to come?" I was doing my PhD at that time at the University of Delhi. So I says, "Unless I finish my PhD, I am not going anywhere." Luckily, my thesis was almost completed, not yet submitted, when I got the immigration papers because my sister sponsored me. So my supervisor, dean at the university, they all helped me that I gave my viva, that is the defense, In Montreal, here in Canada, instead of going for a defense in Raleigh, so they supported me. And as I told you that my sister did all this sponsoring, she lived in Chatham, Ontario. So after I got the immigration papers, they give you a limited time to come to Canada. So I came myself first, and 6 months later, my family joined me. So when I came, I landed in Toronto. My uncle and aunt lived there, so I stayed with them for one day. And then the next day we took a bus to go to Chatham. Chatham is about 3.5 hours or 4 hours away from Toronto. So when we started our journey, it was all sunny and good, but very shortly it started snowing. And it was snowing so heavily that it was hard to see anything on the road. So the bus driver has to be very careful and slow. So instead of taking regular time, it took at least two more hours to reach to Chatham. First, when I saw the snow, it was so exciting that how these flakes are falling from the sky. I have seen rain, but not snow. After my marriage, we went to one of the hill stations in India just to see snow. But we were not that lucky. We stayed there till New Year and a bit after, but it did not snow at all. So here, snow was an excitement. And but when it became so heavy and so much on the road that traffic could not move and traffic was blocked, it became scary. So we reached Chatham, and my sister has already arranged a job for me. So next morning when I called this fellow that should I come and join the work, he says, don't come. All the roads are totally blocked with snow. And I'll call you when the roads are clean, only then and then you could come. Next day, we heard on the radio that Highway 401 was so heavily covered with snow that many of the cars were just stranded on the roadside. And we further found that some of the farmers from the nearby villages used their skidoos to come to the highway and rescue them. And that was a good gesture, and that was something good to know that here people are helping so much to one another. And we have to live in the same kind of a circumstances or same kind of a weather conditions. So we mentally got prepared. It took about 5 days after that I heard from my employer that now you can come. I never knew how to drive because in India I never drove any car. I was just using a what's it called? We call scooter. It's a two-wheeler, motorized, and small wheels, not big wheels. So my sister gave me a ride. This place is away from Chatham, about half an hour drive, called Blenheim. And so when I met my employer, the first thing he said, okay, let me expose you to the country where now you are going to live. So he asked me to jump in his truck, and drove me around. This place was very close to Lake Erie. So he told me that this is Lake Erie, which was all covered with snow and no water, all snow. He says, when the ice gets thick, we can drive on top of this lake and go across. That was shocking to me. Second thing, he took me to some of the villages. He says, there was 8 feet of snow and this village was totally cut off from the main city. Our main roads, they could not come out unless somebody will bring a big bulldozer to clean up all the snow. So he says, now you be prepared to live in this. And when I started working, so before I start working, he gave me all the tools which are needed for my job. He gave me big shoes. He says, you have to have this. A big jacket with a hoodie on and gloves. He says, you have to be prepared for winter. Sometimes you have to work outside. And when I worked outside at a temperature of minus 20 to minus 30 degrees Celsius, I was at that time a bit nervous that this is the way I'm going to live. Because back home, being in teaching in the university, and here working with this fellow, bit outside, bit inside, with very low temperatures, because I came here in the month of December, and that was very cold. But then I said, okay, I came here for adventure. Other people can live, so why can't I? And that's how I made up my mind that I'll be living here. So, before my family came, I learned driving, and I bought a used car, Dodge Maneco. It was a big car. That's what my sister wanted me to, because small cars, if you want to go on highway, I won't prefer, so better buy a big car. And when my family came, I wanted to show them some of the snow experience that I had. And one of the things was ice fishing, which we never heard of. One winter, that is 77, I came, so they came in June or July, and then when as the winter came, so I wanted to show them ice fishing. Close to Chatham, there is a river, and very popular for ice fishing. People go drill their holes and sit on the ice for hours to catch a fish. So when we were driving on this road and we saw that people are fishing on the river, I said, I'll park a bit on the side, not on the center of the road. So when I turned my wheels and slowly I was getting into the side, I could never figure out that there's a ditch, because the road was just going down, it's all covered with heavy snow. So 2 of my passenger side wheels, they were right into the ditch, 2 were on the road, and my car body was just touching not the ground, but the snow. Could not move anyway. Tried my best. Luckily, one fellow from the river came out to pick up some stuff from his truck. So he saw me struggling. So he says, "You need some help?" I said, "Yeah, I do." So he called 4 or 5 other friends who were fishing on the same river, and meanwhile there were 5 strong fellows. So on the ditch side, they lifted the whole car up, and they asked me to take the steering, move left, so that we could come on the road. And I did that. And in another 10 minutes, we were on the road. So that's kind of a helping nature, that if I'm in trouble, you help. Next day, you may be in trouble, and I help. And this attitude is a very positive and good attitude of majority of the Canadians. I won't say everybody, but majority of the Canadians. So I loved that. And my daughters at that time, one was 5 and the other was 3, and they were about to cry in that kind of situation. But we just saw a bit of a ice fishing from the top of the side of the road, but we did not go on to the river to see the actual fishing, and came back home. Another thing which I had seen before, and when I told my family that the big trucks can go on top of the river from one side to the other side. He says, "What?" I said, "No, that's not." I said, "Yes, this will." So another weekend when I said, "Okay, I'll take you to Lake Erie and we'll see." And it was amazing for them when the truck came on the road. From the road it went to the river, and on top of the river, and it was going and disappeared because it went on the other side. So later I found that if the snow or the ice formation is about 5 feet, 4 to 5 feet, only then and then they allow these kind of a big trucks to cross through. And I later also learned that in northern part of Canada, there are areas where there is no bridge on rivers. In winter time, the trucks do cross these rivers on road, on ice, but otherwise all the supplies are through air. So there are places we never experienced those places, never had a chance to go there. But this kind of a snowy experiences in Canada was thrilling, exciting, bit scary for all of us. Though when kids were growing up, they will be waiting for snow because now they are getting used to it. They will make snow angels by lying down and moving their arms and legs. So that was fun, playing with the snowballs, making a snowman. So all those things became as a part of our living, and we still enjoy it. We still enjoy it. So that was my snow experience in Canada. We still get a bit of a, not scared, but Yeah, winter is bitter. You can't move that easily and fast as you do in summertime or open days. But we are not that scared that we cannot live in snow. So that's how it changed our life and our thinking. That we love traveling. So one time we bought a tent trailer and we started our trip from Grand Prairie, where I spent most of my life as I was teaching in the college over there. We drove all the way to United States. We went to New Jersey, New York, and we saw all cities on our way. So we love that kind of a thing. And so we traveled, now one time just two of us, me and my wife, went to Alaska on a road trip. So we wanted to do camping. So we bought a new SUV in which if we take the back seat out, it should be totally flat. So we had that one and we put some mattress on that and made some small setup, put a courier on the roof, and there we go. We were there for 7 weeks, just going to different glaciers and going on different, one time when we went to upper north side of Alaska, we were in, I am forgetting the name of the city, and we wanted to cross, we wanted to go to line 49, 49 parallel, and 2 days before we decided to go, the road was blocked because of smoke. There was some forest fire. When the smoke cleared, we were allowed to go, and we went and reached our goal. But while driving back, the forest fire started again and roads were smoky. We were scared that if we will be able to cross the road and go to the other side or not. But we did that. But at this time our kids were not with us. They were grown up. They were in the university or they were on with their own life. But yes, we traveled this way. As I said that we want to travel. So we went to Australia. We rented a van, and for 3 months we just did our camping, and we enjoyed all of it. We flew from Australia to New Zealand and rented the same kind of a van again. And 6 weeks we were camping in New Zealand. So these kind of excursions we like. Whenever we go to India, when we lived in India, we didn't have much of a chance to see many parts of the country. Limitations, family, and whatnot. But now we are able, so we had explored basically all parts of India. Every second year we will go to India, and in between we will travel to some other part of the world. So that's the kind of a lifestyle we developed when we are here. For some people, Canada was better, because they say that there is more flexibility, less restrictions, and money-wise you can do better. But in my few trips, I realized that people over there had more money than what I have. So, lifestyle is different. Social commitments are different. Traveling is not that easy as compared to Canada. Pollution is quite a bit. So these things made our life better over here. So if I was not here, I could see the way some of our family members live nowadays. They have good big houses. It is easy to hire somebody to work for you. Cleaning lady, cooking, and you don't get that facility over here. But as in 2024, I was in India, and unfortunately I got sick. I had bad pneumonia. The hospitals are fantastic, but they are all private. So being that you have to pay money from your pocket, and everybody cannot afford that. So that becomes a kind of a handicap for the poor people. On the other hand, when I come over here, now I'm running with some problem, I still have one, but to get an appointment with a specialist, you have to wait for 6 months. To get your any special test, you have to wait for 6 months. And just last week, I had to go for some kind of a X-rays special, and I had to go private, pay from my pocket. Now in India they know they have to pay from pocket, so they are mentally prepared for that. And but it is something good over here, something good over there, so you cannot get everything good in your pocket. So you have to make. Here, my family lives here. I have 3 daughters. They all live in Edmonton. They all are working. We have grandkids. So I feel more comfortable living in Canada, though we go back every second year and stay there for 3-4 months, visit our family and friends and travel. But now we feel that Canada is our home. So this is how life has changed. When I moved, my parents were not young, they were old. So we have to leave them back home. When I came here, I did not plan to stay here forever. My plan was 10 years should be the max, and then we'll go back. But by that time, your kids grow up, they are studying, or they get married, and then you have some commitment for the kids. So the alternate was to get your parents over here. And I did that. They lived with us, enjoyed here. But for older people, to adjust to the new country is much more difficult than the young ones, because they don't have a company. The things are not that close that you can walk, and you don't have any friends to visit. So for the parents, when they came, it became a kind of an isolation situation. So that was bad. So I felt bad that way, that if we would have stayed back in India, their life, our life would be different for sure. But in the old age, when they suffered that kind of a thing, that bothered me quite a bit. And this is life. You have to go and carry on. So, but I don't regret that I made this kind of a move. My daughters are all settled. We have good life. We have good friends. And we have good earning. So even after retirement, we still get good money to live, spend, travel, and enjoy. So this is how our life is now. You have to make your goals, and then you have to work for it. And don't stop unless you get to the goal. And my goal was to get PhD. I had no straight path. After my graduation, that is a BSc, I had to stop for a couple of years to gather some more money. Then I went for my master's, which was a bit of a challenge because you gave some gap from your previous study to the new one, so you lose quite a few things. You have to work harder to get into that flow. But if you carry on and you are determined, I know when I was doing my PhD, I worked on minerals, 5 minerals, but I did not publish any paper. And I did 4 years of continuous research on that experimental. And somebody from Czechoslovakia published the paper on same minerals, which was a disaster to me because everything is gone to zero. You have to start from scratch. But I did. I changed my minerals, picked up the new ones, and carried on. And finally I got my PhD. And that was a point when many people, I was married at that time, I had a baby girl at home, I was teaching, and I was doing research. So many people suggested we just, enough is enough, quit. But my wife was supportive. He says, go, do it. So the only thing what I would say that if you are determined, second thing when I came here to Canada, cold situations, cold conditions, I was PhD, but I didn't have any field experience. So no industry will give me any job. So I have to struggle, do odd jobs. But I decided I will stay here. And finally I got a job of my own field. And I taught in Grand Prairie College for 33 years. And I think that was a good accomplishment. I got involved in dinosaurs. I did lots of digging in Grand Prairie area. So people still remember me. I have many friends in Grand Prairie. Though we are in Edmonton, but we still feel that Grand Prairie is our home.